Take over your trout. It's our homecoming. It's our homecoming.
Hey everybody, welcome to HBCU Gameday Saturday. I'm Tolly Carr. Big football matchups to talk about in a second, but first, some big news. You know, a lot changes in a week since we last parlayed here on the show. The MEAC has named a new commissioner. Sonia Stills is the commissioner-elect. She takes office in the new year. Now, while she's worked under Dr. Dennis Thomas for over 20 years, the outgoing MEAC commissioner, she says she is without a doubt her own woman.
Of course, my vision is different from Dr. Thomas's. I have served under him for over 23 years, starting out at Hampton University. And I did what I was supposed to do as a loyal employee. I executed his vision. And so, but it's time for me to execute my vision for the conference.
All right, more on the MEAC in a few. But first, let's start with the SIAC. 2 weeks remain in the regular season, and 8 teams are still alive for a shot at the championship. In the East, Albany State is sitting pretty, but things could still change. Savannah State and Fort Valley State got mollywopped last week, but they are still alive. Morehouse started 0-5. Who cares? They're still in there. In the West, the usual suspects: Miles, Kentucky State, Tuskegee, and Lane, a bit of a newcomer there. All of them ready to go, but today, Elimination Saturday. Now, Lane would be the favorite against Central State. We could agree on that, right? Savannah State versus Fort Valley State, straight up elimination game. Albany State can eliminate Morehouse, or they could lose and still be in contention themselves. Kentucky State versus Tuskegee, another elimination game. Miles against Edward Waters doesn't count in the SIAC standings, so, you know, whatever happens there really doesn't matter today. All right, back to Morehouse for a second. They started the season 0-5, and then from the outside looking in, it looked like they just flipped the switch. But Coach Freeman explains doing less meant doing more with his team, and it could have a big payoff today.
It does. It has some pretty steep implications, and we've been here before. It's been not in the near passes. We were here back in the 10s, 11, and Albany was always the team standing in the way. You know, it's crazy. It's, you know, you just keep, it's a story that you always tell your personal kids. We always talk in the locker room about it. Hey man, look, keep chopping wood, keep getting up when you get knocked down. And we're poised for somewhat of a storybook finish here. And they're a really tough team. I mean, they check the box, offense, defense, and kicking. They have some really good football players. And Coach Gabe is doing a really good job over there. They have the history and the tradition behind them. Our team is hot right now. And I'm thankful to the Lord for that, because we've had a pretty rough road. We're getting some construction done on our stadium. So we had to get creative with, how we practice during the week, because not only does the stadium not being finished pose a problem for playing, we don't have a practice field as well. So we had to get creative. And so we gave our guys a little bit extra time to rest and gave away a day of practice and preparation. And it showed, because our kids have energy. That's where we are.
All right, CIAA, maybe not as dramatic as the SIAC, but still some mathematically alive teams hanging out there in the final 2 weeks of the regular season. Southern Division, Winston-Salem State, Shaw, Fayetteville State are still in contention. Now, I wouldn't bet on Livingstone beating Fayetteville State today, but if they did, wow, that would set up some drama headed into the final week. All right, in the North, I'm not betting on Bowie State to drop its last 2 games, but theoretically possible that next week's Elizabeth City State versus Bowie State game could be for the Northern Championship. It could happen. So let's look at today's schedule. St. Aug and Smith, somebody got to win. National TV game that is on Aspire TV. Hello, Aspire. Winston-Salem State at Shaw, Union at Elizabeth City State. Bowie is at Lincoln, Shawana at Virginia State. Livingstone makes that trip to Fayetteville State. More on the CIAA action later today at HBCUGameday.com. Make sure you hang out with us there. Now in the Big South, Things have gone south for North Carolina A&T lately, the last 2 weeks at least. Losers of 2 straight against Kennesaw State and Hampton, and it is GHOE today, but no cupcakes on the schedule. Monmouth is there, 3-0 in the conference, and whatever's ailing A&T, they need to fix it quickly. Sam Washington spoke with our Luke Williams about what's wrong with the Aggies.
Second loss in a row. Of course, what everybody wants to know is what's wrong with the Aggies. They calling me on the phone. What's wrong with the Aggies? So I was like, I'm not the one, but I'll ask Coach Washington. What do you think is the situation right now?
Well, defensively, we just have too many people out, and I try my best, not to make excuses. No excuses, no regrets. But we have 2. But in the fourth quarter, I looked out there and there was 2 freshmen at defensive end. And it's during crunch time, so those things hard to overcome, and particularly when you're playing a solid team. And Hampton offensive line was huge, so they dwarfed us. And but you know what? I'm very proud of the kids. I thought they played hard. They just just limited what they could do and what we could calls that we could make.
What about offensively?
Well, offensively, there was a lot of it was point of attack. I thought we got beat up front. It was too much penetration, and then they had 5 sacks. So they were pushing the pocket and did very little blitzing. So I thought that was the difference, on that side of the ball. Special teams, I thought we played well. Perhaps the best punt job I've seen in a very long time. He put 2 on the 1. And another inside the 10, and with a 48 average, we never got the opportunity to kick field goals. So
you got a big one coming up this weekend, obviously. Forget that it's homecoming is also against the team that most people figure is the favorite in this conference. How are they responding? How's the team responding?
Well, I think they accepted the challenge extremely well. At least it showed today. Still got a lot of work to do. They're a very good football team, and one of the things you cannot do is beat yourselves, because that's what you can guarantee they're not going to beat themselves. So that's one of the areas we got to be very sharp in, and penalties going to be critical. We cannot play behind the chains versus this team. We have to be honest, we have to be close to perfect.
How much are you concerned with shutout against?
I'm very concerned.
I don't even have to say it.
Yeah, I'm very concerned, and it's concerning. Even if you're moving the ball and not getting points, what good is that? You win and lose by the amount of points you have at the end of the contest. And so we got to find ways to put the ball in the box. And, I used to say I don't like kicking those field goals. Hell, I'll take them right now.
What about lack of with the running back situation? I understand you may be down to your 3rd or 4th guy. What about that?
Yeah, again, injuries have plagued us, for whatever reason. But it is what it is. Again, no excuses, no regrets. So we like to believe we have a stable of running backs. The next guy up, it's your turn. And I have a lot of confidence in all those kids. If they give an opportunity, I think they'll make the plays that's necessary.
Is it true, do you think, that you have not built momentum this year in terms of stacking those wins? Has that just been difficult this year, or is it any particular thing? Is this the biggest injury bug you've had in your tenure?
This is my biggest injury bug in my whole career of coaching, and I've been coaching since '87. Okay. This is the most I've ever seen. I've never seen it like this, and it is what it is, and then that can be contributed to the all season. Didn't put the work in, and due to COVID, we had so many restrictions, and then it took forever to get a strength coach in here. So it's a lot of variables,
that
but it is what it is.
That the average folks don't know anything about,
That's
not
right.
even familiar with at all.
That's right.
Okay. So if you had one thing this week you've emphasized to the guy, what you talked to them about, forget about last week, move on.
Absolutely. That is definitely our concern. Well, our sentiments, to the team. let's put last week behind us. Hell, they put it behind them quicker than I do, you know. But I had to tell myself, get that behind us, you know, to give us an opportunity or a chance, you know, to perform well in front of our homecoming crowd.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Hampton on the road today at Robert Morris, making the trip to Moon Township, PA. Okay, FAMU, all of that homecoming, all of that. I wasn't there, but our Vaughn Wilson was there. He's been sending me photos, videos. He's been sending me DMs, just telling me all about FAMU. So, hey, they got Grambling on homecoming today. Grambling had to stay in Albany, Georgia, because everything in Tally is sold out. All right, let's look at that SWAC schedule for today. UAPB at Texas Southern, a little something called the Magic City Classic. Yeah, heard of that? It's in Birmingham. Jackson State at Valley. Grambling, the homecoming opponent for the Rattlers, as we just said, and Alcorn State makes the trip to Southern. All right, out east, Jackson State in control of the SWAC East right now, especially with that head-to-head win over FAMU, but 4 weeks to go. Still hard to imagine, though, that the Tigers will forget how to play football, but they better not forget today, because Valley is tough. Woo, they took FAMU to the limit last week.
We know it's going to be anytime it's Mississippi Valley, or if it's Alcorn and Jackson State, these three schools, there's a lot of bragging rights within the proximity from here to those areas. So we want to make sure that we give our fan base the sense where they can go out and brag for a whole 365 days, a calendar year. We want to make sure they're proud of what we're doing, what we're displaying. We want to make sure we outnumber their fans. You know, we feel like with their energy, with their passion, the love they've shown throughout the year, that's what gets us going. That's what we feed off. We just want to continue that to show the support and the love.
Oh man, it dates back. It goes back to the Archie Cooley days, and the great days at Jackson State when they had all those tremendous coaches coming up. So man, it's historically, it's a great rivalry, and everybody in Mississippi will come out to see this game. Very excited to be in it, to be a player in it, to be a coach at Jackson, and now to be the head coach here at Mississippi Valley State and to play in it, and to be in this game, man, it's great, and just have to prepare our guys for it. Let them know that it's going to be a festive crowd and it's going to be a great atmosphere, and it's going to be a great football game at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a deep-rooted rivalry, and sometimes I like to call it more of an association than a rivalry. The hammer and the nail are associated, they're not rivals. And in this case, Jackson State historically has been the hammer. Now, in the past decade, Alcorn has gotten the best of this associational rivalry. And there was a time during that Jerry Rice, Willie Totten era that Valley was on top of the triumvirate here to state, if you will. But it is a deep-rooted rivalry. These are co-workers. These are first cousins. A lot of cases, these are spouses and best friends. So we take it serious here. It extends from the barbershop to the boardroom. I almost said bedroom, so I guess it could be in the bedroom if it's spouses. But it is deep-rooted. It is deep-rooted. A lot of bragging rights are at stake. And so we're reaching that stretch in the schedule, where we play Valley, and then before the month of November is out, we play Alcorn. And as you mentioned, could potentially be playing Alcorn twice. Could be playing them back-to-back. Sorry to the Prairie View folks, but we're talking Mississippi HBCU.
Really good zone read team, and the quarterback and the running back are excellent how they read the defensive box. So we got to make sure we're prepared and our communication is right, and we're where we're supposed to be. If we do that as fast as we run to the ball, I think we'll be in great shape to stop that zone read play and eliminate that. Each
week we're getting better, man, and like I said, I don't think we played our best game yet. And hopefully we go out this week and play our best game on both sides, in 3 phases of the game.
Okay, Magic City Classic isn't going to turn the SWAC standings upside down or on its head, but hey, it's good times, good food, good rivalry. Alabama State versus Alabama A&M in Birmingham today.
And it's just always hard when you get back on that bus and you see all the post-game celebrations and everyone having a good time, even on both sides, like even Alabama State fans having a good time, and you being a player and taking a loss like that, it definitely does something to you. So it just gets you back the next week, just preparing for the next year. And, you know, we finally here back at that point from, luckily we didn't have to wait a whole year, but it was a spring season. So it definitely adds a lot of fuel to the fire. So, you know, it's the longer you've been here, you realize it's less theatrics and more game time preparation. So I'm just ready to play.
You know, they create a lot of problems. You know, they got great personnel. They got a great coach, Coach Pearson. You know, I know him very well. He was at A&M my freshman year. So he always comes out. He always has a great game plan. They play fast and physical. Overall, it'll be a nice challenge. We just got to come out and execute.
Okay, out west, Prairie View A&M, Alcorn State seem to be destined to battle it out in the west for a trip to the SWAC championship game. That's what it looks like so far. We'll get a chance to see those two together in a few weeks. Prairie View off this week. Another team with the momentum right now, Tennessee State University. The Tigers are at home today. It is their homecoming as well, taking on Murray State. And the Tigers are the second hottest team in the conference, the OVC right now, behind UT Martin. Tennessee State has won 3 in a row, 2-1 conference record. They'll see UT Martin next week. We'll see what happens, but first, you got to get through this week. Speaking of homecomings, a lot of homecomings last week in the MEAC. Delaware State wanted to put on for the city, but Buddy Pugh, South Carolina State, had other ideas.
Homecoming in full swing at the Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware. The quad was packed, the Greeks were on the set. It was about to go down inside the Hornets' nest. The 2-4 South Carolina State Bulldogs were trying to get a win streak going and ready to sink their teeth into some Hornets. But the Hornets were sharpening their stingers with revenge on their minds. The scene was set for a backyard brawl. Both defenses were throwing haymakers from the start. But Jablonski Green from South Carolina State landed the hardest punch with a forced fumble that was recovered on the Delaware State 13. South Carolina State settled for a 24-yard field goal by Gavin Zimmerman to make it 3-0. Later on, an interception by Zafir Kelly put the Bulldogs in perfect position for another scoring opportunity. But the Delaware State defense said not today while SC State turned the ball over on down. A 48-yard pass from Corey Fields to Davis set up a 22-yard field goal by Zimmerman with 8:55 left in the second quarter. Later on, Corey Fields airs it out to Shaquan Davis to set up the Bulldogs' first touchdown on the Delaware State 11, and it took 2 carries by Ja'Cory Benson to hit pay dirt. And with the converted extra point, the Bulldogs led 13-0 at the end of the second quarter. Delaware State's bruising ground game came alive, with Sivion Wilkerson at the helm and the Pounders up front, who pushed the ball to the Bulldog 12. Unfortunately, the kicker missed the 28-yard attempt to keep the Hornets scoreless at the half. Continuing the defensive brawl in the second half, SC State punted from its own 10, and the Hornets' Charles Peeler returned the kick 55 yards for a touchdown in the third quarter. Unfortunately, it was the only score of the second half. The game was a defensive slugfest, and with a plethora of penalties and miscues, the Delaware State offense outgained the Carolina State offense, but still fell short 13-7. I don't know about moral victories, but both defenses put in work. I see you, Coach Milstead. You're building a culture. But today, Coach Poe had the final word.
For the Bulldogs, every time you get out here and win a game on the road, there'll be a big conference game. It's big, so we appreciate our guys, man. They went out here, our defense in particular, played their butts off. We just look forward now to getting our butts back home and getting ready to go to North Carolina Central next week.
All right, let's look at that MEAC schedule for today. Morgan State at Norfolk State, South Carolina State at North Carolina Central, and Howard on the road at Delaware State. It's still so early with the MEAC standings, man. I mean, it could go any which way but loose. South Carolina State at 2-0 right now. Norfolk State and Central both at 1-0. The best still yet to come. We'll get into those standings. in the weeks to come. Hey, the best might already be here for Norfolk State. Dawson Odoms, he comes over from Southern University, turning things around for the Spartans, especially on the defensive end, getting them tight. But with Dawson Odoms, you don't just get X's and O's, you get a culture, and you definitely get discipline.
But this process is not something that yield results, immediately. And the results that we're seeing is winning, but the process is about winning in every aspect of the community that makes up our program. And that's academics, that's going to the cafeteria, that's taking your hat off in building, that's wearing your pants around your waist, that's tucking your shirts in at practice, that's covering your back flaps, that's dressing alike, that's being alike, that's one sound, one band. And if we can do that and follow that process and fall in love with it, that means when you fall in love with it, you're able to tell your teammates what they're doing wrong. The accountability raises. Everything about what we're doing, everybody take account of. And when we get to that page, the team takes account of it, the university takes account of it, the community takes account of it. Then I think you'll be able to see something special. But that process starts with us. That's coaches, that's players, that's managers, that's trainers, that's everybody that's in it got a role to play. And if they take that role and be great in it, then we think we got a chance to be successful.
Coach Odoms and the boys went into D.C. last weekend. It was another homecoming for Howard. Behold the highlights.
On a beautiful day in D.C., Howard's homecoming was in full swing. But the Norfolk State Spartans had something else in mind for the Bison fans. Jawan Carter showed out, breaking the school record for consecutive completions, as well as airing it out for 322 yards. He tossed the rock around the field the whole first half. The Spartans scored the game's first 14 points. The second touchdown came when Jawan coughed up the ball on a tough scramble to the end zone, but offensive lineman Jeff Woods jumps on the ball in the end zone. HU's Quentin Williams gave away his lunch money twice in Spartan territory, one by Tavon Land and the other by Justin Tolan. All the Bison could muster was a field goal by Faraji Woodson to end the half 14-3. At halftime, Howard's Showtime band kicked it in a high gear to give everybody a homecoming show. After a physical back and forth being played between the Bison and the Spartans, the score was 31-17. The Spartans thought the game was over, but the Bison said not today. Norfolk State got a case of the dropsies, which led to an Ian Wheeler 18-yard run to bring the Bisons closer with a score of 31-24. But the Spartans had an answer for that with an 8-play, 80-yard drive capped by a Brent 3-yard run. Howard would not quit, this time with a 31-yard TD pass from Williams to Matthew McDonald to bring the score closer, 38-31. As time is running out, Brent, who rushed 10 times for 99 yards, burst through the middle of the line and sealed the deal with a 57-yard touchdown run. The Spartans cooked up some Bison for Howard homecoming with 535 yards of total offense, 203 rushing, 332 in the air. The Norfolk State offense is potent, the third straight game with 40-plus points. This game is one step closer to winning the MEAC.
Hey, walk in the trap, take over your trap. It's our homecoming. It's our homecoming.
All right, that's it for HBCU Game Day Saturday, the early edition. We'll be back here later for HBCU Game Day Saturday night. We'll have all the scores. We might have a few videos, some photos. I don't know. We'll have it all, though, for you at hbcugameday.com. Saturday and Sundays, always big traffic days for us. We appreciate your company. We appreciate the trust that you have in us to come over to our website and get the latest with what's happening and going on, who won, who lost with your favorite HBCU. All right, that's hbcugameday.com. I'll talk to you later on this platform tonight. We'll have all the scores then. Until then, enjoy your Saturday. And happy Halloween.
Y'all, it's game day. When the band is what you hearing, everybody here is cheering. All your worries disappearing. Y'all, it's game day.